Hi everybody, I'm Guadalupe Martinez. I'll be submitting our assignment for this week, talking about the two illustrations, one of the skin and one of the bone. All right, today's date, April 26, 2020, and here is my first illustration. All right, first illustration of the skin. So starting from the top, as you can see, number one right here, we have the stratum corneum, then we have the stratum lucidum, then the right here, number three, the stratum granulosum, the stratum spinosum, then the stratum basale. Then we have right here in number six, this thick black line, the basement membrane. Within here at number four, within the stratum spinosum, we have in brown the melanocytes and all the other ones depicted throughout this layer of the skin, right, are the keratinocytes. All right, so the keratinocytes and melanocytes. Working our way down past the basement membrane, right? Number seven, got my blood vessels. All of number eight right here, this is all the dermis. Okay, this portion of the skin is the dermis. This top layer that we covered right here, all of that, that's the epidermis. All right, so this is all epidermis, then the dermis, then the hypodermis. The hypodermis down here at the bottom. Within the dermis, all right, within the dermis, we have the papillary layer here on top, and then here the bottom half is the reticular layer, and here number 12, I have depicted the sebaceous gland. Sebaceous gland, all part of the dermis. All right, so that is the illustration of the skin. Next, we've got the compact bone. Right? So in the compact bone, we have starting at, where are we? Number one, right here. All right, number one, all on the outside, or not all the way on the outside, but towards the outside layer, we have the circumferential lamellae, right? Circumferential lamellae. Number two, here, number two is the concentric lamellae here on the inside. And actually that's inside, we'll jump ahead a little bit, number six, which is the osteon. All right, so this whole portion of it is the osteon, just like this one right here shown. So that's one, two, number three, osteocyte, right? So if you zoom in right here, the pink layer right there on the outside, that's the osteocyte, right? And then number four is the canaliculi. Here we go, canaliculi. Then the number five, which is just on the outside of the osteocyte, is the leucini, right? So the leucini. Number six, we just mentioned the osteon, right? So that's the whole portion right here. Zooming out, seven. Sevens are blood vessels, again like the previous one. I made sure to differentiate them or make them a different color so that they stand out. Eight, that's the very outside of the bone. All right, so that very outside of the bone, that's number eight. That's called the periosteum. The periosteum. All right, and then number nine, right here, that's the inside that contains those blood vessels and the nerve right here depicted in yellow, the number 10. But all number nine with the nerve and the blood vessels, that's the central canal. All right, so that's all the parts of the compact bone. Going to our next one, we've actually have, here's my drawing of this is the anterior view of the skull, and this is the lateral view, just so that I could get that additional bone in there. All right, I was a little cleaner in numbering these. So first we have the frontal bone, right? All right there. Frontal bone, the parietal bone, followed by the temporal bone. Number 4, the sphenoid, the sphenoid bone that's in the back of the eye socket right there. Number 5, the nasal bone. So right there you can kind of see that above where your nose goes. Number 6, all right here, number 6, the maxilla. Then we have our mandible, number 7. Our zygomatic bone is number 8. That's right here in green. Sorry about that. In green, the zygomatic bone. And then the number 9 is the lateral view right here. The back bottom of the skull is where we have the occipital bone. The occipital bone. And then number 10, I tried to squeeze this in my paper. I didn't do a very good job there at the very bottom. But that's where we have the hyoid. All right, so the hyoid. Again, that's my anterior skull view. Most of the bones depicted there. And then I drew a lateral view right there so that I could throw the occipital bone in there. All right, last, we've got the spine. All right, so this is the portions of the spine. I just kind of color coded them so that we could see them a little bit better, or so I could. And then some of the muscles. All right, so starting at number 1, the very top part, basically our neck muscles, right? That's the cervical vertebrae. So these are the cervical vertebrae. Then right here, number 2 in green, we've got the thoracic vertebrae. Thoracic vertebrae. Number 3, down here, the lumbar vertebrae, so our lower back. Then we've got the sacrum, okay, the sacrum, and then the very bottom of it, number 5, is the coccyx. Swinging over to our muscles, all right, here in our neck, okay, here in our neck, we've got a sternocleidomastoid muscle, right? Sternocleidomastoid muscles. Here we have our trapezius muscles. Here in green, this is kind of an inside view, almost like an X-ray type, looking in the inside of our body. We've got the sternum. Then we have a diaphragm right here, number 9. That's our diaphragm, and I just kind of drew it connected to the lungs, just for reference. Okay. Number 10, not really to scale. I think I put a few more muscles in there than I needed to be. But these are the rectus abdominis muscles, right? So basically your 6-pack, what everybody sees. And then the sides, you have our exterior abdominal oblique muscles, number 11. So the exterior abdominal oblique muscles. All right, so those are kind of that is everything that we have for this week. Again, portions of the spine, portions of the muscles. And of course my dog busted in here. All right, so again, I'm Guadalupe Martinez, and that's all I have for this week. Thanks.